In most cases, you don't need too many things to move to another country. Main ones are your passport and some cash. That made me think that moving in general is not that complicated, and I definitely underestimated all the struggles that come with it, especially emotional and psychological ones. Almost half a year ago, we moved from Russia to a small country, Georgia, and I wanted to support all the immigrants out here and to share some of my experience that I've had during this process of relocation, maybe some culture shock moments that I've had during our move, and most of them I haven't expected to face or I haven't even thought about before I actually faced them before we moved. And we moved probably in the hardest moment possible with all the sanctions against Russian people, with all the restrictions, being cards troubles, receiving income troubles, my pregnancy. So that was a very complicated and hard experience, and for the past several months that we've been here, we've had to face a lot of things that probably we wouldn't face if we would move in different time, different situation. But the experience I'm going to talk about is more like a general experience, and I think a lot of immigrants can have it no matter where they move, how they move, in what situation they move. So yeah, let me put it in another room and I'll go upstairs to talk to you. So, things I wanted to talk about. The first one I would call everywhere you go, you take yourself. I've heard that phrase many times before, but I've never had a chance to actually experience it in my own life. And when we moved, I had that feeling that, like the decorations around me changed, the surroundings around me changed, everything around me changed, but I'm still the same. And because of that, so many things are the same, like my relationship with people that are around me, my attitude to things is the same, how I treat people, how I treat myself, everything I like about myself, everything I don't like about myself. A lot of things that are important and that actually shape the way we live and that actually shape our everydays from morning to evening are still the same, because I'm still the same. Like, I moved, but I took myself with me. So I always had a feeling that if I would change my place to another one significantly, everything would be different. But in reality, it turned out that everything is pretty much the same. My mood depends on the same things, just how I act, how I talk to people, and how things work around me. Just everything is the same, but just with different, different location, different view from the window, different house. And pretty much nothing changed when it comes to the way I feel things, the way I just act, and the way I feel about myself and about my family and about my life in general. Things around you change, but you're still the same, and your life is pretty much the same. There are little squirrels, I don't know the proper word for them, living in our roof, and I can hear them running around there inside. Whatever. Next thing is that homesickness is real, and I always knew I would be homesick because I'm always are. I have two places that I can kind of call home. I have a city where I grew up and where my parents live, and they have a city where we've been living with my husband for the past 5 years, and we got married there. We had our daughter there, so it's also a big part of our life. And I knew I would be homesick, but I've never thought that it would be so significant, and in such random moments I would just had that feelings of, oh, I miss that, and you just miss different random stuff, like you miss food, you miss people. just your view from your window, you miss your old home. And it's kind of funny because when we were living in these places, I didn't like them that much. I know I didn't. And I know that I wanted to change them. I wanted to try living in a new place. I wanted to experience something new. I wanted to, like, I kind of didn't like them much. But when you're not in them, you miss them so much. And just in general, I miss Russia, and I'm really experienced this homesickness. Although I know that when I'm in that place, I don't have such strong feelings about this place. So it's kind of weird. I didn't expect it to be like that. I knew I would miss a lot of things, but I didn't expect it to be so kind of surreal even. I have to deal with this homesickness now, and I have to really try to figure out if these feelings are real or if this just, like memories and everything is kind of blurry and pinky and perfect in these memories. I've experienced homesickness before when I was moving from my hometown to another city. And it was kind of strong too, but this time probably because it's a significant change, like you change the country, everything around you is very different. This homesickness is more like strong and is more weird. Just next one is about communication. Communication with people is different and is complicated. And I didn't expect it to be that bad, honestly. Probably I had very small expectations about the whole like relocation process, but that is about the cultural differences, and I don't know how hard it would be if we would move to a country with a completely different culture, with a completely different like history, traditions, like with everything very different. I know, like to Bali, for example. Here in Georgia, we have very similar cultures. We have similar historical events during the Soviet Union period. We just live close, like Georgians and Russians, we live close to each other, so it's not that different. How people think, how people act, how people talk, but it's still different. And sometimes it's hard for me to communicate with people because I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how they think, and I don't understand if they say something because they are polite or because they really mean that, or if they are mad at me or they are just emotional. It's hard for me to understand their emotions. It's hard for me to understand just in general the traditions, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate, what is like common, what is expected from me. And there's so many little things that like I have no idea about, the traditions that people have, and just the way they talk, the way they think, the way they act. This is so different from what I'm used to. And that's hard, that's complicated. Like, you really have to think all the time, like if you understand the person, right? It's not about the language even, it's about just in general how we communicate. So yeah, I can't imagine how it is moving to a country with a very different culture. Like, that would be probably very hard. But yeah, even when it comes to similar culture, there are so many differences, and it makes communication more complicated. Sometimes I feel that people don't really understand my point of view just because we have different like mentality, we have different cultures. Next thing is quite similar. Language struggles can be worse than expected. So this one was really, it hit me like a rock. I thought that I would not have almost any language struggles here because I know, like, I speak Russian and I speak English quite well, and many Georgians speak Russian, many Georgians speak English. So I thought that with these two languages, I would not have any problems here because obviously Georgians speak Georgian, but most of them know Russian or English. But I didn't expect that so many people would not speak neither Russian, neither English, and they would not understand me at all because they speak Georgian only, their language, and I don't speak Georgian. So there have been so many situations when people either didn't speak any of my languages or they spoke but very small amount, very bad, and we could not understand each other, and I needed something from them, like sometimes it was the store, sometimes it was just some kind of communication and they needed something. I actually thought that it would be much better that I would be easily communicating with people here either in Russian or in English. And there have been so many situations where I could not. And now I think even if we would move to an English-speaking country, like to the USA, for example, I would still have these struggles because I don't understand slang, I don't understand like some phrases, I don't understand more complicated words or sentences, I don't understand like things that might be needed like with documents and things like that. Luckily, I still can communicate with most people here, but anyway, it is worse than I expected it to be. Next one is probably my favorite one. Kind people are everywhere. This is related a little bit to the first one about you taking yourself with you, and it's about your attitude, it's about your expectations. But I believe that when you actually think that people around you are kind, and when you are kind to people, and when you are friendly and polite, like magic happens, because there have been so many kind people who cared about us, who helped us, who really were into the things that we were doing and who wanted to help us, and just random people, strangers who we don't know. And I believe that it's very important to actually believe in people, to believe that people in their like nature are kind and they want to help you, or just they like might help you. The amount of support and help we got here from locals, from people from church, from just random people, strangers, from our acquaintances, it's been so incredible. And it's been inspiring me so much over the past month to just rethink my relationship with people, because in Russia we didn't have that many situations where we needed help and where we were struggling with something, and we didn't have a chance to experience people kindness that much. But here, because of so many situations, it just seems incredible, it just seems unbelievable how people actually care about each other when they don't know each other. And the last but not the least, some days you would question if it was worth it, the whole like moving, relocating process. You would wondering if it was worth it, even if you know that it was, even if you know that, for example, you didn't have any chance to do anything differently, that is good for you and your family. You would still have a lot of moments that are like, maybe you have overwhelming emotions, or maybe there is just something bad happening to you or some struggles you are facing, and you would be angry and you would think like, why did I do that? Was it worth it? Like, why? And some days it's hard to deal with these thoughts. It's hard because they're popping in your mind like in random situations, and they're making it worse for you when you are struggling, when you need to focus and you need to go through something, and these thoughts like come to your mind. They don't help you. They actually make it like just worse. They make you worry, they make you feel bad about your decisions, even if you know that it was worth it. Some days you would question that, and well, it's good to question your decisions, but most of the time it would be just emotions talking to you. So I've definitely underestimated this moment too. I didn't expect myself to be so emotional during that whole process of moving, and I didn't expect myself to have that many doubts and thoughts and just worries, like if it was worth it, even though I know that it was. These were all the thoughts and things I wanted to share with you. Write down if you have experienced any immigration process. Maybe your parents moved from a place to place, maybe your friends are immigrants. So let me know in the comments. Let's share our experience and discuss it a little bit. And thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.